Good morning, good afternoon, guys. I hope you all are having a good day so far. For those of you that I see in the morning, I was glad to see you all. For those in the afternoon, I just got to take off today to get a little eye exam. I won't be here in the afternoon, but I'll be back tomorrow. For today, there's no notes. I don't have a handout for you to fill out or to work on. I just want you to follow along in the video, listen to what I have to tell you. I think some of these things are very interesting and they could be very helpful for you to grow your money over time and have some good amount of free money in your future once you start saving some of your money that you're making at your jobs or later on down the road in life. As far as today, we're going to still be looking at percent and interest. We will define percent interest and determine how the interest rate can help grow your money and savings. So we saw a case a couple weeks ago where, like for example, in a loan or not a loan, you're going to pay interest. It's going to cost you money to get that loan. Now we're going to look at how getting interest can actually get you money. Okay. The question we should ask ourselves is, well, how does interest make my money grow in a savings account? How does that work? We're gonna figure that out today. We will determine how much my money can grow in different savings accounts, and you all will compare the interest rates in different types of savings accounts. So let's define and explore a little bit. The first step is to understand, well, what is interest in a savings account is like free money. It's literally free money. The banks pay you interest on the money that you have saved in their banks. So the thing is, the banks say, hey, well, save your money in my bank and I'll pay you 1.5% or 0.15%, or I will give you some percentage on the money you have saved if you keep your money here. The reason they do that is because they take all the people who have money saved, they use that money and loan it to other people. That's basically how a bank works. You put your money in the bank and they tell you, I promise it's going to be safe. We're not going to get lost or do anything like that. And they used all that money, some of that money, to loan money to other people. Those money, as the people pay back, they replenish the money in the accounts, and then that's how you guys are able to access your money and have money all the time. But that's how the bank's making money. They're loaning your money out to other people. Those people are paying higher interest rates, making the bank a ton of money. They're paying you a little bit of interest rates to give you some incentive to keep your money there at the bank. Okay, so if you understand that, you'll know that at the end, the bank's always the one that's going to win, and you just have to be aware of what's the best option for you. Okay. Let's look at this little table. So we're right here. We're going to look at this table. See the table below for typical interest rates on different types of savings. There's a ton. There's actually quite a few, but we're going to look at savings accounts, then we're going to look at a high yield savings, and we're going to look at something called a certificate of deposit or a CD. Look at the standard interest rates. These are actual interest rates. I got these from GECU. I have a savings account with GECU, and right now they are paying me 0.15% on money I have set aside in there. So some savings that I have is basically I have my paychecks deposited into GECU. I keep what I can in there, and I just pull out what I need to pay my bills. So I can have as much money in there as long as possible to try to earn as much interest. On the high yield savings, I have an American Express Bank savings account. It's called the high yield savings, and that one they pay me 3.5%. So you can see there's a big jump from a traditional savings account at 0.15% to a high yield savings, which is 3.5%. And then certificates of deposit are kind of like savings accounts, but there's some limits. Like there's minimum amounts. In this example, it's $2,500. I pulled this off a GECU website. They will pay you 4.5% for having at least $2,500 in that. The problem with, or not the problem, but the thing with CDs is you have to have it a certain amount of time. 18 months, 24 months, 5 years are the typical rates. Hold on, let me pause and answer the phone here. So you usually have to have your money fixed, like set in there for a certain amount of time, like 2 years, 3 years, even 5 years. The more time you have it saved, the higher interest rates they will give you. The more amount of money you save, the higher interest rates they'll give you. So the longer you save it, the better rates you'll be. With savings accounts, you can get it, you can withdraw it, pull it in, take it out anytime you want. With CDs, once you agree to the terms, you have to leave it in there for the amount of time you say you're going to leave it in there for you to earn that interest and get that free money. Okay, if you have any questions so far, just go ahead and let me know. Like I said, I won't see y'all 5, 6, 7, and 8. I won't see y'all today, but I will see you all in fourth period. I won't see either, but I'll see you all Thursday and Friday. Let's take a look at some examples and see what does this actually look like over time. Example one, let's say you just put up $100 straight up for a year. You put $100 into your savings account straight up for a year. Let's see what happens. $100 in a traditional savings at 0.15, you're going to get 15 cents profit. At the end of 1 year, instead of having $100, you'll have $100.15. Not a lot of money. 15 cents is like nothing for having your money in there for a year, but think about if you do this long term over many years, or if you have more than $100. For every $100, that's 15 cents. So if you got a couple $100, you earn a little bit. It's not much, but it's still free money. You didn't do anything. If you keep $100 in your wallet in a year, it's still worth $100. It's actually worth less because of inflation. You can buy less things with it. But $100 in your wallet today is $100 in your wallet a year from now. $100 in a savings account is $100.15 in a year. So at least you're earning some kind of money. It's not a lot, but it's something. Now let's look at these high yield savings account. If you put $100 in a high yield at 3.5%, at the end of 1 year, you're going to have a $3.36 profit. So instead of $100, you'll have earned $3.36. Again, it doesn't seem like, what, that's stupid, mister, like that's only $3. But imagine if you're doing this day after year, month after month, year after year, you're putting $100, $100, $100. If you're always saving, adding to your savings account, it will really grow. So it's for every 100 that you have in there for a year, you're going to have $3 for every 100 that you save. Now let's look at one with a little bit of a higher interest rate at 4.5%. This is a certificate of deposit. If you happen to put $100 in at 4.5%, at the end of the year, you'd have $4, almost $5. So now you start to see, oh, when the interest rate goes up, that's more money I'm starting to get. This is free money. You didn't do anything. You didn't have to do anything but leave your money in that savings account. So even with just $100, you're still able to earn a little bit of money for free without doing anything. Let's take a look at example number 2. This one says, what if I start with $100 and then I deposit $50 every month? So let's say you take $100, you go open your account, you say, I want to open a high yield savings, or I want to put this money in a CD, and you're going to deposit $50 every month. So every time you get paid, or when you save your money, you're going to be like, hey, $50 of this is going to my savings account. In a traditional savings, so $100 down plus $50 a month, that actually comes out to, just on your own, you'll save $700. Like I said, $700 in your wallet today is $700 a year from now. It's not going to change. It doesn't grow. But at 0.15%, you earn 60 cents. Again, it's like, dude, that's so small. It's nothing. So now you can see that savings accounts are good. They help you earn a little bit of money, but you're not earning a lot. You're still getting free money, but you're not really earning that much. But look at this high yield at 3.5%. After a year, you're going to have earned almost $17 just by saving your money and putting it into this high yield savings with a little bit of a higher interest rate. $700 will now be $700 and almost $17. So now you can start to see like, oh, okay, if I start to put a little bit more money, if I save a little bit more money, I'm going to start adding up to a lot more savings. And at 4.5%, even more so, $22. By saving your money, you're not doing any work. All you're doing is depositing your money. Now you don't even have to go to the banks anymore. They direct deposit from your checking account or when you're getting paid from your paycheck. You literally have to do nothing but just put your money in these accounts and let it sit there. How about example 3? What if we do the same thing, but instead of 1 year, what if we do it for 5 years? Okay. $100 down, $50 a month, every month for 5 years. At the end of the 5 years, you're only going to have, so that's $3,100 that you yourself will save up. But look, you're only going to earn almost $7 in a traditional savings. So you're still getting free money, but it's not growing as fast. In the high yield, that $3,100 that you've been saving at 3.5%, that's going to be, oh, smokes. Now we're making $202 So over 5 years from just saving your money, not touching it, you will earn almost $203 on $50 saving $50 a month, just putting $50 a month away in savings over 5 years. Now imagine if you start saving $100 or $200 or $300, and you start getting these. Once you start getting your big boy money or your big girl money from your business, or you join the military and you start getting your paychecks, or you graduate college and start getting your professional job, and you start saving more than $150 a month, imagine how much money you'll have over time. And even at just by going from 3.5 to 4.5, so 1% increases your gains by dude, that's almost 80. That's about $80 that your price goes up. So 1% in increase can get you about 70 more dollars here on this amount. So now you see, now it starts to add up. This is where they say stacking your money or stacking cash. This is literally where it comes from, is by stacking money over time, letting the interest that you're earning build your money even more and have actually work for you and earn money, as opposed to just spending it or letting it sit in your wallet. Let's look at the last example. This one is where it really starts to get interesting, and where you're really going to be like, oh, dude, when I get my job, I better listen to Rubio and start saving some of my money. What about if you get your first professional job after college, whatever, nurse, teacher, engineer, or something else, whatever you study, you go get a degree. With whatever degree you get, most salary starts between 60 and 75,000 a year, depending on what your career is and on some other stuff. But most everybody's now is getting about 60 grand a year coming out of college. You can get up to 60, 75, depending on your degree. But assume you save about 20% of your salary. That's what you should be saving. When you get like money and a paycheck, you should save at least 20% and spend 80. If you're real smart, you'll save half and spend half. If you're really, really smart, you will save 80% and spend 20%. So I know that's hard. It's easier for you right now if you don't have bills, you don't have kids. Me having kids and a wife, and wives are very expensive. They take a lot of my money. My wife takes a lot of my money. We can. It's hard to save. Let's say 20. It's hard to save 75% of my paycheck, but I could save a little bit, as much as I can. As you guys are young people and you don't have that many responsibilities, dude, you should try to save like 75% of your paycheck and only spend 25, and then start doing some of these long-term savings, and you're going to see how your money's grow. So anyway, back to the example. If you save 20% of your salary, that's about $800 a month. Over 5 years, you will put aside $48,000 on your own. How much interest will you earn? Well, let's take a look. So if you just put $800 a month in your savings account from your paychecks, and you'll see, like, when your paychecks are like $4,000, $5,000 because you're making $60,000 or $62,000 a year, for $800 is going to be like nothing. In a regular savings, look at this. You're still going to earn some free money, but only $196 over 5 years. And it's like you're still getting free money. That's $200 for not doing anything but keeping it in your savings account. Okay, it's just free money for having money saved in your account. So when you're thinking about buying your house or buying a car and you get your first little job, think about it. You should graduate when you're like 21, 22, maybe 23. You set money aside for 5 years. By the time you're 28, you're going to have money to buy a house or start a business or invest in other things. Like, you'll have a good amount of money if you start saving money when you're young. If you put it in a higher interest, $48,000 here at 3.5%, now look, dude, now you're going to earn like $3,000 over 5 years, just by putting your money in this high yield savings, not messing with it, not doing any work, literally just putting it into this account and letting it sit there. Remember, $48,000 in your wallet is going to be $48,000 in 5 years, or it's going to be zero because you're going to spend it all. But if you put it in a high yield savings, $48,000 in 5 years will be 51,000 and some change. That's earning almost $3,100 in interest just from having your money sitting there. Now imagine if you're doing this over 5, 10, 15 years. Any extra money that you have that you know you're not going to spend right away, you can put off buying that new car. You can put off buying that house for a little bit, or getting that big fancy house and getting a house that's more reasonable. so that you have extra money to save, then you'll have $3,000 at the end of a few years. And imagine how it's going to grow in if I continued this projection and did like 10 years, 15 years, you would see that this would turn into tens of thousands. And let's say we put in like a certificate of deposit or some other type of account, and at 4.5%, then you're really gonna, oh my gosh, look at how much you'll have, 52,000. You'll have earned $4,200 in interest for free, doing no work, just putting your money into a savings account instead of spending it or saving it in your wallet. You'll earn $4,000 of free money by saving money into one of these types of accounts. The next time we're going to look at is on investment accounts, and those you can earn up to 12 or 15%. So imagine how much your money will, look at how much you can grow with 4.5%. Imagine how much you can grow with 12 or 15%. But there's a lot of risks that come with the stock market and investment accounts and things like that. So we'll go over that tomorrow. And today, what you need to know about savings account is like these are very secure. They're lower interest. You're not going to earn as much as an investment account, but they're very stable. They're very secure. You know for sure that in 5 years, you will have this amount of money. So I hope this helps. I hope it's useful for you guys in your future. This is how mathematics can apply to how mathematics really applies to your everyday life. Okay. If you have any questions, please let me know, and I will see you all tomorrow.